Good day, fellow coders. Today we will talk about JQuery, a simple JavaScript library that is easy to learn. We will also talk about Cascading Style Sheets, also referred to as CSS, which is a powerful way to style your websites. And we'll do all of this inside of our favorite code editor, Notepad. The first thing we will do is we will press the Windows key. We'll type in Note to bring up Notepad. And then you're going to type this code here. Then you'll click File, Save As, and you'll change the file type. Click on All Files, then choose, type in, let's say, JQuery and CSS.html, no spaces. Press Enter to save, and you'll have a website file. So if I double click on this, it should say test load. That means we were successful. So going back to Notepad, inside of the head, we're going to put our styles. Now here, I've used a // to write a comment. So anytime I want to give myself some notes about the code so that when I read it again, I understand, you can write your notes this way. Now we're going to add several elements to our page. Then we're going to see how we can style them in a few different ways. So I've added a few more elements. These are all H1 all the way to H6. We have paragraph. We have a div that's going to be a container for another div and a button. And now we're going to see what that looks like. I saved it. Let's reload. And this is the default formatting. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the default formatting for these elements, and then we're going to play around with them. So first let's change, let's see if we can select all elements. So we'll use a star, and we'll then add the curly braces. So that's what you need to access all elements. And we're going to first start with margin, and we'll make them all have margin 0, padding 0, and we'll make them all have the same font size. Let's do 20 pixels, and we'll also give them all the same font family. Let's make them all sans serif. Let's put a dash in there. Okay, and let's save that and see what happens. So as you can see, you can change the default behavior. You can make everything a standard behavior, and you can access all elements. What if I just want to access one element and not all of them? So maybe what we can do is we can just type in the HTML element itself. So just H1. If I save that, it will only change that there. And I can make that even bigger. Let's make it 40 pixels. Okay, so you can access an element individually, or you can access all of them. Now, sometimes you want to access a group of them at the same time, but it's not based on the element. So in this case, you want to use CSS classes. So right now, the only thing that has any sort of thing to identify it other than the element, so this is a button, it also has the ID, but it doesn't have a class yet. So I'm going to add a class, and then I'll show you how to edit the styles using CSS. So let's call this also button1. Now, to call on the button, you by its ID, you can put in a hashtag and then type in the name. Okay, I can save that, and that will add the style to the button itself only, exclusively. But let's say I want to style many of them. I want to make a cool style class and affect everything, or only groups of items that I choose. I can use a class. So let's make a general class, and we'll call it sans serif class. Okay, and so I will copy that. Now to access a class in the CSS style sheet, in the Cascading Style Sheet, you put a period, then the class name, and you save. And so nothing changed because only the button has this class. But the nice thing that we can do is that we can add this same class to whichever element we want. So let's add it to the H3, the H6, and also to this paragraph and see what happens. So now only this element, this element, this element, and this one have the exact same styles. That's very neat. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to use JQuery, which is a very simple language to use. So there are two options. You can download the JQuery program. It's on your desktop, and so you can use it from there. You don't need any internet browser, or you can use a CDN link. So yes, I trust the jQuery website, so I'm using this. So if we go to Microsoft Edge, at this web page, it says https://releases.jquery.com. So here I'm going to get the CDN, so it's kind of a link to another page that is hosting the code, and so I'm using it because it's easier to use, much more simple to use than JavaScript. So let's click on this one, the most recent uncompressed. I want the raw version, and here is the CDN. So if you put this script, you can copy it with your mouse or trackpad, or you can click this button here and then go back to your Notepad and paste it right here. Actually, let's include the script tags because I copied those as well. So paste that in. So it should look something like that. Okay, and then you can save it. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to put it there. That looks good to me. Okay, so now I'll bring up my web page again, bring up the Notepad. We're going to save and see if anything happens. Nothing happens. I just have the programming language. I haven't written any code. So let's write our first lines of jQuery. Okay. So with jQuery, it accesses a lot of different features of JavaScript, but it simplifies them. It also is great because there are a lot of bugs or problems with different browsers that people use. Maybe you use Firefox, maybe you use Safari, Chrome, and they're all a bit different. And so now you can code everything one time and it works on all browsers, which is amazing. So first thing that you do, this is the syntax, this is what you write. First you start every line of code with a $, pretty much. You type in the selector, and we're going to say once the page is loaded, then you can execute code. So sometimes code doesn't execute because the page wasn't loaded yet. So this simplifies that. So document.ready, then we're going to call the ready function, and we're going to put inside of this an anonymous function. This is a more intermediate JavaScript concept, but just type what you see. So the parentheses, curly braces, then press enter, and then let's add the indentation so it looks nice. Now we need to test. So let's use what we learned from our last video. Let's type in an alert command, and we're going to say hello, hi world, and see if the code is running correctly. So I will save, and if everything is fine, once the page is loaded or reloaded, it will give us an alert message. Let's reload, and wow, everything looks fine. Okay, great. So now I'm going to remove that code. I know it works, and I'm going to remove this class here that I added. I'm going to maybe style everything the same. That looked like fun. So let's, but I'm going to add the same class to each of the elements, but I'm going to add and remove them with the click of a button. So now all of the elements that contain any text in this web page, they now all have the sans serif class. Okay, so if I reload this, what do you think will happen? Okay, let's see. So absolutely everything has the same class. Some of these are bold. I guess those are H1 elements. But everything is the same font size. Now, what I also want to do is maybe add some special styling to the button, and on a button click, we'll change the styling of the button. So that might be kind of in. So inside of the button, we're going to add another class, okay? And this class will be called button1, add a space, okay? And we'll put that underneath the sans serif class so that it will be the last thing to be added to the sheet. So you can actually run into problems if you don't put the styles in the right order. So let's first make sure that it works. Let's change the background color to black, and let's change the color of the text to let's just put yellow just to see. Okay, save it, see what happens. It works. Now this button, it's not so fancy. I'm going to now change the padding. Right now the padding is at 0. I want to add maybe, let's put 10 pixels, px or pixels, and let's give it a little margin and put it out, let's say in the middle of the page, 50%. Let's see if that works. Okay, where is my, oh, it went way down there. Okay, let's just do 20 px. Okay, so there we go. Now we have our button here. To make it look even more interesting, we can add it a border radius so that the edges are rounded, and let's make that 5 pixels. And let's actually add a border color. I like to use this syntax where it's all in one. Border solid 4 pixel gold. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so now looks all right. I think we really should exaggerate, and we can pull back a bit if it's not right. There we go, beautiful. Okay, now the button is not quite done, so but good enough. Now what we're going to do is upon the click of the button, we're going to change the style of, let's say, of all of the text. So we'll add or remove this class from certain all elements that have this class on the click of the button. So I realize that we have a problem. So if I say get all elements that have sans serif class, then on the click of the button, I remove that class from all of those elements. The next time, if I want to add the elements back, which elements will have that class? So I need another element inside of all these elements to say that you can access and toggle this. So maybe inside of the elements I want to change, let's add a class that says changeable. So to add another class, just put a space after the first one, and we'll add changeable. I'm going to add that to each one. Okay, so now I've added the changeable class to each one, and now we're going to write some JQuery. So let's just again make sure that it works. We'll type hello and see if that runs. Click on it. It works just fine. Okay, so what we can use is we can first say access these elements. So any element with the class, I have to put the quotation marks, dot changeable. If it has this class, I want to toggle class, and this is the class I want to add or remove, and that one is called sans serif class. Okay, let's save it, and so let's reload the page, and okay, it all actually disappeared. If I click on click me, nothing is happening, so I need to debug and find. So what did I do wrong? I said once the document is loaded, change the class. So now it doesn't matter if I click on the button, it's just going to automatically change the class. What I want to do is to wrap this code inside of a button click. So I'm going to say, maybe when I click on this button 1, when this event happens, then I want you to change the code. So let's write over top of that the element that I want to click and say, when this is clicked, run that code. So what am I accessing? Accessing button 1 by the ID. So this hashtag to access the ID. Then we're going to put in our anonymous function. If you don't understand, it's okay. Just copy that code. It'll be okay. Okay, and then inside of this, we'll toggle the sans serif class. So now let's save that. Okay, and let's see if that works. So let's save, and now everything starts out with sans serif. I click on this and it's gone. I click again. Perfect. So it's toggling on and off this content. So that has been an introduction to jQuery and CSS styling. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.